Hey friends, it's Pastor Zach here, and I want to welcome you to our Mid-Week Devotional. This is a new offering for University United Methodist Church. It's a midweek kind of connection point for us where we can study some scripture, but it also might be a place where I can make a few announcements about things that are going on in the life of the church. I know it's been a few weeks since we've had anything up in the middle part of the week, but I wanted to take some time to learn what you had been used to and what you've been doing in the middle part of the week as far as digital and online options, and then learn what I can do to best kind of to fill what Tom had done in the past. And so what I've decided on is this midweek devotional that'll come out hopefully most of the time on Wednesdays in the middle part of the week. We're going to post it on our YouTube page, our Facebook page, hopefully our website when we get our new website up and running. And then also there'll be a link to it in our email system, which is something that I'm working on getting set up. And so look for that in the coming weeks. But this week I wanted to talk to you about wisdom. On Sunday, we're also going to be talking about wisdom because we are going to be focusing on the passage about King Solomon, who is King David's son. And the passage specifically is where King Solomon gets this moment with God where God says and tells him, hey, what do you want? And basically saying, like, anything in this world, what would you want? And King Solomon asks for wisdom so that he can faithfully lead God's people. And so I've been thinking about wisdom as I'm preparing for worship and writing my sermon this week. And while we're focusing on the story of King Solomon, I've been reminded of one of my favorite New Testament letters, and that's James's letter. It's one of my favorite letters in the entire New Testament, and if you ever found my personal Bible or my study Bible and saw the pictures of it, you'll know that it's one of my favorite ones because you'll see underlines and highlights all the way through it. So as we talk about wisdom today, I want to share with you James chapter 3, verses 13 through 18. Who is wise and understanding among you? Show by your good life that your works are done with gentleness, born of wisdom. But if you have bitterness, envy, and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not be boastful and false to the truth. Such wisdom does not come down from above, but is earthly, unspiritual, devilish. For where there is envy and selfish ambition, there will also be disorder and wickedness of every kind. But the wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, willing to yield, full of mercy and good fruits, without a trace of partiality or hypocrisy. And a harvest of the righteous is sown in peace for those who make peace. So just like in James's world where he was writing about these two different kind of competing wisdoms, we also have two competing wisdoms. Or as I like to think of it, one true wisdom, that wisdom from above which comes from God, and then something that's entirely different, that at least claims to be wisdom. You see, because we have things in this world that claim to be wisdom, don't we? We see things all over the plate, and that this earthly wisdom tries to distort God's true wisdom. And as James says, it's full of bitterness and envy and selfish ambition. And my friends, that should be our test. That should be the test that we do to when we're trying to discern what type of wisdom it is. Whether it's earthly wisdom or whether it's godly wisdom, this wisdom from above. And of course, my friends, we don't want to have anything to do with that earthly wisdom that's full of bitterness and envy and selfish ambition. Because when we do that, then there's, as James says, there's disorder and there's wickedness of all kinds. And we don't want anything to do with that. But on the other hand, James tells us about this heavenly wisdom, this wisdom from above that comes from God. That's what we should focus our life on. And the test for that is that it's pure and true. And that this heavenly wisdom is full of that's peaceful and gentle and willing to yield and full of mercy and good fruits, and without a trace of partiality, with no thought of showing favor to one group or the other, and then also does not have any hypocrisy in it whatsoever. So my friends, when we're thinking about the wisdoms of the earth as opposed to the wisdom from above, we have to use these tests, because it's getting harder and harder for us to distinguish between the two, because we live in a world that's so messy. It's so cluttered, and there's all kinds of things that compete for our loyalty and compete for us to follow and focus our lives on. But friends, we need to remember that we need to focus on the wisdom that comes from above, and that's what we need to follow. The wisdom that comes from God, not from this world. And if you need help figuring that out, if you are trying to go one way or the other, remember this passage from James, because it gives us these tests, these kind of checklists. Is it full of bitterness? Is it full of hypocrisy, or is it showing partiality, or is it pure and peaceful and gentle, willing to yield and full of mercy? That should be our test, my friends. So as you go out from this week, I hope that you will come on Sunday and learn about the wisdom that we're going to learn from Solomon. We're going to have worship at 10:30 a.m. here in the sanctuary. And I hope you have a good rest of your week, my friends. Hope to see you Sunday. Have a good day. Bye.